underlying this, and you don't want to talk about it. This doesn't work.
Lakey for 6 minutes, please.
Go back a long ways.
Yep,
we were both elected in 2004. We've been here ever since, except you took a 4-year hiatus in 2011, but it's good to see you back here again. So I'm going to speak very honestly and candidly with you, Minister, and I hope you reciprocate. It is clear to everyone in this committee, and I know it's clear to you as well, there was only one reason for prorogation being called in early August, and that was to shut down committees who were investigating the We Charity scandal. That was the singular reason for doing so. And every academic that has come before this committee, and we have had several, admits that was the reason. They all agree to that. They all agree, in addition, that prorogation was not necessary. If it was prorogation that was necessary, it could have been called much later, even literally days before Parliament resumed. So the prorogation excuse that you are offering, Minister, is weak. And I know most Canadians who are paying any attention to this understand that fundamentally. One of our academics went as far to say is that the Prime Minister's decision to prorogue Parliament was an abuse of power. And I agree with that as well. Now, prorogation is a tool. The Prime Minister chose to use it. That was his decision. That was his prerogative. But I won't go back to what Mr. Nader, my colleague, was saying about the extension of prorogation and one of the ancillary effects of prorogation, and that is the impact it had upon committees. Because since your Parliament shut down committees through prorogation, it took it one step further when Parliament and committees were reconstituted in mid-September. And that is Liberals on both the Ethics and Finance Committees started filibustering. Now, if you've stated, Minister, on the record before this committee, that that was independent of any decisions from your office, the Whip's office, or the PMO, that parliamentarians themselves in those committees made those decisions. Listen, I've been around a long time. I filibustered myself on many occasions, and you know that. You were on the same committee as I when I went on for about 8.5 hours. And
you filibustered my bill.
And you know as well as I do, Minister, that that filibustering doesn't just occur when committee members wake up one morning and say, hey, you know something? Let's filibuster today. They are instructed to do so. There are consultations, there are meetings between the Whip's office and committee members, and they are given a game plan and they follow it. So, Minister, I don't expect you to admit that you instructed or the Whip's office instructed parliamentarians to filibuster, but can you at least show some modicum of honesty and tell us exactly what discussions were held between committee members, your office, the Whip's office, and the PMO prior to the filibustering of those two committees?
Hello, Mr. Lipinski. It's good to see you, by the way. And you did filibuster a lot at the time. And if you remember, you filibustered my bill. I had a private bill on Kyoto, and you did speak, I think, for 2 hours during that meeting, and you were pretty good at it. That being said, of course, you will not be surprised that I disagree with your comments, because you see it one way and I see it the other way. I'm part of that government.
Simple question, and you know, you are compelled, Minister, you are compelled, and I know you know this, I don't have to lecture you on this, to speak the truth at committees, particularly in your role as a minister. Are you saying, for the record, that there was no influence, no direction given, no suggestions given from anyone in your office, the Whip's office, or the PMO to committee members to engage in filibustering? Are you saying that on the record, sir?
Mr. Lipinski, you know very well that committees are independent. You sat on committee for years. I sat on committees for years. They're independent. So again, if I make you said a lot of things, but I'll be short. There's no recipe to manage a pandemic. We're doing our best. You are doing your best. All of us were doing our best. And we went as far as we could by adopting bills here and there, and we needed that master plan. If this is exactly,
answer my question about filibustering, if there was any direction given to committee members to filibuster. Were the instructions given by someone either in your office or the whip's office or the PMO to committee members to engage in filibusters of the Ethics and the Finance Committee?
Again,
yes or no?
It's again the same question, Mr. Lukinski. Committees are independent. I mean, we have very smart people on all sides sitting on those committees. They know what they have to do.
Thank you, Minister.
If you honestly think that's the truth, Minister, I feel very sorry for you.
Thank you. Next, we've got Ms. Pettypod Taylor, and then we will have, we'll say goodbye to the Minister, and then we'll have the officials on for the remainder of the meeting. Ms. Pettypod Taylor, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. And before I ask a few questions, I just wanted, for the record, indicate that we also did have some academics that appeared before committee, and they were not all some of them also indicated that they approved and they felt that it was very appropriate that we use prorogation, that it was an appropriate time when that was called for, specifically that we are dealing with a global pandemic, and that the pandemic is not just a public health crisis, but it really touches all parts of our society. So I think we have, I wanted to make sure that that was clear on the record. Monsieur le Ministre,